I have worked with over 3,000 bariatric surgery patients, and I've got my thinking cap on today around what are the 3 things that I find are the most important things that not just slow down weight loss, that gets rid of that trust and that belief in the process sometimes, where people experience more stalls, more plateaus, but I've also had a little think about what actually makes people more vulnerable to regain at a certain extent. And I think these 3 things put together are a really powerful long-term effect if you are thinking about going down this road, or indeed if you are someone who's in the early stages, or indeed long-term post-op. I would really encourage you to put these 3 things into practice. I apologize, I'm talking in front of my fridge in the kitchen here. It's a snowy day and my house isn't the most aesthetic place in the world, but I've said I'll turn up here every single Friday, so here I am, and hopefully the information outbeats the aesthetic that I'm currently sitting in. Number 1 is comparing yourself to others. Every single person's weight loss journey is going to be different for numerous different reasons. The main one being is that everyone has a different start weight. It is pretty much a scientific certainty that people will lose weight more aggressively the heavier they are. I speak to many patients in those first few weeks post-op, and when they say it, there is a direct correlation to the start weight. It can vary quite a bit from person to person. If you are losing anything over 2 pounds a week consistently, on average, keyword which I'm going to touch on in a minute, you are losing aggressive amounts of weight. If you lose 2 pounds a week every single week for a calendar year, if you've got that much weight to lose, that's over 100 pounds. That's 7 stone. That is dramatic weight loss. It is life-changing weight loss. We don't want to get too drawn into other people's journeys. There are other factors as well. So polycystic ovary syndrome, thyroid, so these metabolic conditions are factors that can slow down weight loss. Gender, it is a fact that men tend to lose weight quicker than women. There is also an element of age as well. So younger people tend to lose weight quicker than older people. So these are all factors. But then beyond that, there's environmental factors as well. Okay, if you work nights, say you do shift works, you're probably less likely to lose weight as quickly as somebody who has a bit more of a predictable pattern to their day. Just because working nights is difficult, you know, we tend to be a bit more reactive in our diet when we work nights. It's not a fact that you have to change. I'm not saying you have to change careers. It's just a factor to be aware of. Some people are more active as part of their work. We speak to people who sometimes work in nurseries and they're chasing kids around all day. That potentially is going to be more efficient towards long-term weight loss if they're doing 10,000 steps as part of their job, compared to somebody who's sedentary, who's a full-time mother and can't get out at all to do any steps. These are factors. We've got to bear these in mind. There are some people who have a relationship with exercise where they maybe have had an injury or an accident, and that's why they've put on weight, compared to somebody who has no relationship with exercise. These are factors that are going to impact long-term weight loss. And usually when people are comparing online, they're looking at 2 factors. They are looking at how long the person is post-op and how much weight they've lost, just time versus weight. And there's a ton of variables towards that. People don't even associate the LRD. The LRD is a massive part of a gastric sleeve or a gastric bypass. A lot of times that's not even a factor that's considered. Some people lose more on the LRD, some people lose less. It's just a real non-starter for comparison. If you compare yourself to photos, again, you're comparing your normal to their perfection. There's a very good chance the photo has been posted in a very aesthetic way, and we look down at ourselves and we think, oh, I don't look like that, something's going wrong, and on the same time post-op. Please just concentrate on your journey. I promise you it's probably the number 1 tip, because once we get lost in our head around this stuff, it's quite common people stop doing the right things. Number 2 is going by your average weight loss and percentages. What do I mean by this? Well, a lot of people in the weight loss world are taught by the week-to-week weigh-in. If you lose weight this week, great, things are going well. If you don't, what have you done wrong? And that is just such a poor way of looking at weight loss. It does not work that way. I always use the analogy, if you have a savings goal with money, you get paid monthly, it doesn't really make much sense to look at your bank statement halfway through the month. You're not going to like what you see. You've got to spend money. Weight gain is part of weight loss, so we want to look at averages over time. Weight is quite volatile. If I speak to somebody who is 10 weeks post-op and they've lost 30 pounds, I can guarantee they've not lost 3 pounds a week. I bet they've lost 6 pounds one week and 0 pound another week. But the average tells the same story. If they'd lost 3 pounds every single week, they would be at the same point. And I think if you go by that, not only is it far nicer because it tends to tell a better story, but also plateaus are going to happen for numerous reasons. Goals, time of the month, luteal phases, you're going to be heavier, cravings are going to be higher compared to the follicular phase. So it doesn't make much sense to compare your luteal to follicular. We want to compare monthly maybe. I would say to people, weigh weekly, but compare monthly and go by averages. And back to my point about the comparison piece, go by percentages. Because, for example, as I said, it is very much a scientific certainty that people are going to lose weight more aggressively if they are heavier. So let's just say somebody is 30 stone and you've got somebody who is 15 stone. You might have somebody who, you know, they're 10 weeks post-op and they've lost 5 stone. I'm just like, that's a number, I'm saying that's the number. So they're 25 stone. They're looking to get to 10 stone. That means that they are 25% of the way there. If you look at somebody who maybe is 15 stone, they've lost 3 stone in the same time frame, they might be 50% towards their target of 9 stone, but they've lost less weight, but their percentages are a lot stronger. It's because there is differences for everybody, but the start weight is absolutely key. When people sign up to a gastric sleeve or a bypass, gastric sleeves tend to elicit around 65% of excess weight, really important. It's not necessarily going to get you to your BMI. It's absolutely possible to get to BMI long term if you work with the tool continuously going forwards. Bypasses tend to be around sort of 75%. But my point being is go by percentages, go by averages, don't be defined by the week to week because it is going to fluctuate for different reasons. And if you're emotionally charged, and I understand it's going to take time to grow with this, I'm not just going to do what I say because there is a history of yo-yo dieting, there is a history of people weighing themselves, but I promise you if you go by that, it tells a much better story and it makes you more likely to be compliant long term. And number 3 is exercise. There is not enough focus around exercise. I know patients maybe might start walking more and that's great, that's really helpful. If I speak to a patient who's maybe seen a bit of regain recently, I don't think I've had a conversation where they are exercising at the same time. There is a metabolic effect of exercise. It seems to really complement the tool long term, not just towards weight loss, but protecting people from weight gain. No one speaks about that as bariatric surgery. Yes, weight loss is phenomenal, but it's pretty good at protecting people from regain. And yes, regain can occur. Nearly always exercise has been thrown away for some reason or another, or not started in the first place. I think when someone is exercising, whether that be a strength training session, which I think is actually really valuable post-op to help protect muscle mass, or indeed a form of cardio session, we don't want to do too much cardio because that can make people crave things more. Sometimes I've done lots and lots of long distance running. I've never lost weight or maintained weight doing long distance running. I'm not saying it's bad for you. I'm just saying it's something to be aware of. I think if someone does a routine where it's a steady intensity like strength training, like cardio, swimming, and they're partaking in that 3 times a week, it's quite rare you see excessive regains. I'm talking like over half a stone. So over 6-7 pounds, over sort of 3 kg. It tends to be a bit steadier because there is this all or nothing effect when it comes to diet, when it comes to exercise, and if exercise is still present, it usually means the diet's tidied up a little bit as well. Not always, I appreciate there could be some nuances towards that, but in general, if exercise has been protected throughout, you just don't see the regains as much. I've had it in conversations, and nearly always, if there has been a regain recently, exercise has never been present or it is no longer present, and we want to start using the weight loss to our advantage. We want to explore new metrics of success. It's very fulfilling to get stronger. It's very fulfilling to get fitter. As I always say, happiness does not live at your goal weight, it lives at what you do with your goal weight, and by moving more, breathing more, that is what living is. I promise you that will create long-term success. Not just for weight loss, but for protecting you from weight gain. And how many people I speak to, it's nearly enough for everybody. It's like, yes, I want to lose weight, but I also want to crack on with my life without worrying about weight, by not comparing, by going by your averages and percentages, and bringing exercise in, whatever suits you best with that. I promise you that will help your journey long term in ways you can't even imagine, because that's the beautiful thing about weight loss surgery. The idea of a successful journey, it's not about the weight loss anymore, it's about all the non-scale victories you find along the way. And the best thing about non-scale victories, you can't compare non-scale victories because it's very specific towards yourself. And the best thing about exercise is that you build new metrics of success that you didn't even realize you were capable of. This is what the wonderful journey looks like. If you can put these things together, I promise you they will help you long term. All the best from me. My name's Harry Hedges, the Bariatric PT. If you want any more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and I'll look forward to catching up with you next Friday.